mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life. We won't live in the past. We're making it alive. It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly, and with me this time around is Ken Blackman. He's a relationship coach. Welcome, Ken.
Great to be here.
Now, what we're going to be unpacking is what is more important, the checklist or the connection? Let's jump into it. Checklist in terms of what? Just to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, so everybody tends to have a list of, qualities they're looking for in a partner, a list of hard no's, and that's all reasonable stuff. Like if you're going to create a life for yourself, of course you're going to have a vision or you're going to have something. Um, but I have a hot take on this, which is that when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your life partnership, that doesn't necessarily work too well. And the reason I say that is because I've worked with couples who seem to be not a great match. And I've worked with
Okay.
couples where it seems like this person matches all everything on the checklist. We're not
Mm,
sure why we're happy, right? So
okay.
both people come to me, people who have like major, they don't seem to line up. But if they have connection, if they have that thing that like underneath all of the superficial stuff, like two, I don't know, like Yoda used to talk
Mm,
about luminous beings, and I love that language. The two luminous beings met, like
okay.
here we are in this world, and I found someone that is like my feels like a deeper thing, this life partnership. Now
Okay.
we have all
Okay.
these ways that we're not a good match, but we have to figure it out. So as a coach, I would much
Mm-hmm.
rather work with that couple because all of those mismatches can be worked through. Believe it or not, like even major things like we have different religions or, like those
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
supposed incompatibilities.
Terrible things, right?
If they have the connection, if they have like that deeper thing, whereas when it's the ideal checklist couple, like everything on paper looks perfect and they're not happy, that is hard to coach because the truth is they don't have connection. And what I end up doing with them is coaching them like two separate human beings
Mm-hmm.
who like how am I gonna actually have these two people get into connection with each other to actually have a true deeper intimate relationship. So I've started to think I don't know that you can even I don't even know if you can decide what your relationship is going to look like what your ideal relationship is look like
Mm-hmm.
before you pick the person. I think you have to pick the person and then actually create something with them, right? It's a whole nother human being.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting perspective. Continue. I have a follow-up
yeah,
afterwards. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So that
So,
deeper thing that you're referring to, though, before you continue, is it what most people would refer to as then they feel as if this is their soulmate? Do you feed into that?
I've heard that languaging,
Okay.
like I don't like it could be something like that, but it's just like you met someone that you feel like you've known for 100 years. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
They might not be anything like you, they may be from a different
Mm-hmm.
culture, but there's something like two people who have known each other for forever. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, this long list of things, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they have to be a non-smoker. They have to like, they have to not have kids, or I have kids and they have to like it. Those are all
Right.
reasonable things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, they're all our best guess as to what conditions will foster and create the feeling of connection that we hunger for. So all that
Mm,
list is for the purpose of feeling like you get into a relationship for how it feels, for a thing that you want to feel that you can't feel by yourself. Do you know what I mean? And then people prioritize the list over the connection, you
mm,
know?
mm.
So I have it the other way.
Okay. 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 What then do you think determines that connection? That's the first part of the question. What do you
Yeah,
think determines
it's
that connection?
I mean, it's a harder thing to create or manufacture or like produce.
Mm-hmm.
My experience is that it's usually like you have to be open to connection with another human being. Like instead
Okay.
of writing like like I see people in the dating scene, right? And the funny thing about the dating scene is you can get really good at dating and still not get into a relationship. Like dating is its own thing. Do you know what I mean? Like
True.
you can actually become good at dating, being on the dating scene
Mm-hmm.
without actually getting good at being in a relationship with someone. So
True.
I see people go on a date. The first thing they do is they compare this person to their checklist.
Mm-hmm.
They don't actually do the more important thing, which is I'm going to be open to connection with this human being. I'm going to see what it actually feels like to be like to open myself, take off the mask,
Mm-hmm.
open
Mm-hmm.
myself and connect with this other
Yeah.
human
Be
being. Like
vulnerable.
there's another human being in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of sitting there like it's some sort of interview, you actually connect with another human being. You may like it, you may not, but at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day you had a moment of connection with another human being. So you get good at that, then you're much more likely to find the person who has the qualities that are actually important in having a long lasting, thriving like life partnership with them. Someone you actually want to do life with, someone you want to spend your life with.
Yeah. Do you have a checklist, and is the checklist more important than actual connection, human connection? We're going to continue this conversation, but we must take a break and get a word from our partners. We'll be right back.
I was the person who the teacher would always call on to read aloud in class, and that traveled with me until whenever. But if you took away the paper, if you took away the book, I would freeze. I would die right on the spot. Let me introduce you to my 17, say 18-year-old self. Good with content if I'm to read. However, if I was to ever express my thoughts without writing them on paper, it was no good. Noreen was the one who recognized my flaw, but she didn't leave it there. She led me along the journey of developing my communication skills. She allowed me to know how to critically think on the spot, but not only that, how to arrange my thoughts logically so that I can come across as persuasive in my argument, using logic, using reason, and the right balance of emotive language. This came about through debating. I've always considered myself to be personally indebted to her because she exposed me to so many fundamental pillars of communication. The truth is, I am who I am today because of Noreen's coaching.
Noreen Daily, redefining the way you communicate.
You can't live your best life without a healthy immune system. Boost your immune system the delicious way with Zappy's organic juices and punches. Made from local produce with zero added sugar, our juices cleanse and revitalize your body as they boost your natural immunity. Try our delicious flavors. Beat It, Berry Bomb, Get Fresh, Ton Up, and Island Splash. Find us on Instagram at Zappy's Organics or call or send a WhatsApp message at 1-876-779-8910 to order today. That's 1-876-779-8910. 8910. Zappy's Organic Juices and Punches. Live your best life today.
Langdo Language Institute was created to meet your language and communication needs. All of our packages were created just for you. We are passionate about language and dedicated to your success. We offer the CSEC English program, the Study Body program, the Get Ahead with English program, and the Business Communication program. Contact us at 767-285-0938 or email us at landolanguage@gmail.com, because the real question is, how can we help you?
Let's continue the conversation. Is what you're saying only confined to, an intimate relationship, or what you've just said, could it be applied to other relationships as well, other types of relationships?
That is a great question. I'm so glad you asked me that question, because I think so much of humanity has lost, like so much of the world has lost our sense of humanity, and we're so transactional in everything we do. I read this thing that says that all human interactions, and even you can look at animal interactions, all of them fall into different categories. There's like like your community, like your people. Do you know? Like you would take care of these people. They come over, you would serve them dinner. Like
Right.
their happiness is as important as you. So there's like I am for this person because this person means a lot to me. So there's that. Then there's transactional, where I'm giving to you to get mine. I'm like we're gonna work out what the value is. And then there's hierarchical, like dominance. So what you want, what we crave in our intimate relationships is like, this is your person, right? This is you, this is a person.
Yeah.
They're your person. But I think that if we moved more towards just the importance of human connection in the rest of the world, like I think it's missing, and I think we're suffering
True.
as a result.
True. How then do you think we can make the effort to just build and maintain that connection? And I'm gonna use what you just said then, that human connection.
Yeah. Well, I think community is really important, and I think
Okay.
creating community with other people is important. I think there's not enough of that right now. I think there's a wow, I didn't know we would get into all this conversation. Like this is great. I think there's a lot of isolation.
Okay.
I think there's like the substitute for connection, which is social media. I think we've all in this isolation, in this like we're so starved for the nutrient of connection that we've turned materialistic. I think we're very materialistic. So I think one thing that each of us can do is try and build community with one other human being, or then bring in a third human being. And then like let's have a little bit of humanity so that we can actually feel like a real human being, and not just I'm gonna get mine, or I'm wearing a mask all the time.
You think, well, do you think it's ironic that social media that is supposed to connect us actually serves to disconnect us more than anything now?
Yeah, isn't that ironic that it ended up that way?
Yeah.
And
As Go ahead.
and exploit it. Do you know what I mean? Like like the people who are providing this platform have their own agenda. And I might, even if I might be there to, because I know people who are on social media. It's the only human interaction that they have. You know, they go there to be seen in something. They go there to connect with other human beings and be seen. But the people who are providing that platform to us have their own agenda. So, and it's not necessarily in alignment with why we're there.
Yep, yep. As we're wrapping up, since obvious the answer to the question would be that the human connection is more important, what is the one main idea you'd want to leave with the viewers and the listeners? If you get nothing else, this is
If you get
the
nothing
core.
else,
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
We have an idea about what, like, we have an idea about what we want in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we created the ideal relationship, like my fantasy about everything I want in this relationship, and I created it exactly the way I wanted it, that experience isn't as deep and profound as the relationship where I'm surprised. I'm like, this is beyond what I expected. You know, like the best birthday party that you can create for yourself is nothing like the birthday party that your friends can create for you, right? We like connection, like relationships are so much more than what we can imagine. So you have to kind of dismantle some of your expectations, some of your like lists, so that you can really get into the territory of what's possible between two human beings. You have to like stop trying to create it or manage it to be what you think and be open to human connection with another human being.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Ken.
My pleasure.
This was Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life.